Even though you have obstacles in life, you can overcome them. If you have that drive and that passion, you wanting to advance yourself as a person, help your family, we all have a different life path, but it all can be done.
Hi, everyone. This is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. You already know what I'm about: educating, empowering, and teaching awareness. So, before I get into purpose and passion and with our special guest, I wanted to share something because April 1st is coming, and there's called an enlightenment event with Crystal Rambo. If you're looking for a life coach that is an amazing person that can help you with whatever it is that you need help with, whether it's becoming an entrepreneur, uh, maybe trying to say like you're already a good mom, but you want to do bigger and better things as a mother or a wife, or you just have some things that you want to work on within yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes as young people, we have trauma and we haven't dealt with it. So sometimes I feel like sometimes our trauma blocks our blessings, right? So please, on April 1st, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 12, I want you to RSVP at www.crystal, KRYSTAL, Rambo, RAMBO.com. So, with that to say, I'm very, very, very not that great in Spanish. So, I'm going to say it with the best of my ability, okay? I have a barrier there. So, today we have Paola Neri-Michel, and she is an immigration lawyer. So, thank you for coming on Purpose and Passion today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you here because we had an opportunity to work together in the city of Inglewood with Immigration 101 with
Yes.
our community, with the parents. And so I was so inspired to have you there and how you have this natural gift of people gravitating you, and also for you expressing your PowerPoint with passion, and also with like a sense of calmness where you're relatable. And so
Thank
I
you.
was excited to make sure that I have you on Purpose and Passion because sometimes people have so many questions about immigration, right? The do's and the don'ts and things of that nature. So you are my first immigration lawyer.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes,
Yes, and it's
exactly.
true. A lot of times people are afraid to ask because of past traumas.
Yes.
Back in the day, there was a lot of fraud. I would say more than now,
Yes.
where people were desperate to figure out what to do, and they would just find people that said, "I can process the paperwork for you. Pay
Yes.
me this fee." And they weren't attorneys. And what would happen a lot is that the people would disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So people had these traumas of lost finances because they
Yes.
work hard to save for
Of
these kinds of
course.
processes, and just losing that trust and not knowing where to turn. So it's been really nice to express myself, as you said, to let people know that I'm passionate about what I do. I'm an immigrant.
Yes.
I know what it's like to come to this country and not have a lot and just work hard to get somewhere. So it's my passion to educate and guide
Yes.
people.
Wow. Well, take the viewers down memory lane. Where are your parents from? And where were you born and raised? And how was your childhood?
Yes. So I'm from Ensenada, Baja California, Mexico.
Yes.
That's where I was born. And I immigrated to San Diego when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
We immigrated due to a tragedy. My father passed away unexpectedly,
Yes.
and my mother was pregnant. So she made that tough decision to move to San Diego with my youngest sister and myself. And it was difficult. I don't remember a lot because I was 5, but I do remember going straight into kindergarten, not knowing English and struggling. Also, just struggling emotionally because I don't think I fully understood what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to language classes to overcome, that language barrier.
Yes.
But I'm happy to say that I pushed and I overcame a lot. I went to, graduate middle school, high school, went off to college. UC Irvine is where I graduated from. Graduated in 3 years instead of 4.
Wow.
I had a lot of AP credits and I worked really hard in high school. So graduated in 3 years, went straight into law school after taking the LSAT. You do have to wait a year to get admitted into law school. You have to take the LSAT exam. So during that time, I worked and took the LSAT, applied to law schools, and went to Loyola Law here in Los Angeles, which I loved.
Yes.
So it started as a struggle as a young person, but then blossomed into something beautiful.
Wow.
That came about with a lot of work and dedication.
Yes. I think that's very amazing because I don't have the percentage. I left it at home, obviously, but the statistics of how many Latina lawyers are out there,
Very low percentage.
Yes,
I don't have the statistic here to just share it.
Yes, yes, but it's
yes, it's low, but it's rising.
Yes.
So we have to empower our community, our women, our Latinas,
yes, of course,
to seek higher education, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
Since going on my own, people have reached out to me, law students, pre-law students, and I've made the time to jump on a Zoom call with them.
Wow.
And to talk about how I got to where I am now. Not all of them maybe wanted to pursue immigration law, but all of them wanted to pursue that higher education. And that's exciting for me because we need more Latinas. We need more people of color in general.
Yes, I agree.
To take those steps that may be scary because it might be the first person in their family.
Yes.
Right? That goes to college, that goes to maybe law school, and they may not have that support, but it's up to us to be that support for them.
And your mentorship is priceless because I always tell people like in my family, on my Mexican side family, we don't have lawyers at all. We don't even have doctors, you know. We don't even have politicians. We don't even have nurses. So it's interesting that in society, sometimes we have family that just work hard with regular jobs, right? And then their kids grow up and kind of do the same thing, right? And so when I meet a female lawyer, especially Latina, it's inspiring to me because I've always had a desire in high school to kind of do law, but I didn't have the tenacity to go through with it in the years that they would share with us, how many years it would take, and I didn't have the tenacity for it. And so I decided to say, okay, well, I've been working in the community for so many years that maybe I'll just get a bachelor in sociology because I like working with people, right? And I started in the nonprofit sector in 1999. And then I remember a dream of mine when I was 15, and I said, you know what? I would like to be the first person in the family to be a politician because we don't have no politicians in the family. And so now it makes me truly think that maybe as a mother and soon in the future to be a grandmother, maybe that should be my goal, is to speak life into my grandchildren to see if we can have lawyers and doctors, in our family.
Definitely inspire them, or at least offer that support.
Yes. And my son's godmother, she is a criminal lawyer. So when she got sworn in to be a lawyer, it was very I think I was like one of those, I felt like the mommy moment, you know what I mean? Like
felt proud.
Yes, where I'm just like, wow, like through her trials and tribulations, she still succeeded. And I'm blown away. So I'm like so proud, when I meet, female lawyers, like I swear, like I'm in the financial industry and sometimes in my brain, I'm like, they can still do their work, but I would love to recruit like lawyers because you guys know so many people, that probably need those resources, and I was speaking to one lawyer where when they have settlements and they're like, well, we don't know where to send them to. And I'm like, send them to me so we can help them, protect their money and their assets. You know what I mean? Because if you give Black and brown people money, sometimes we tend to spend it on things that we never had. And that could be a brand new nice car, or purchasing a condo or a house.
Which is not bad. But also, I feel like something we're not taught when we're young is how to finance.
Yes.
How to save, how to invest.
Yes.
And now that more of us are coming into these positions of, I would say, more education and more power.
Yes.
It's up to us to also empower other people to think about these things.
Yeah, I agree.
And I always say that, a lot of our parents sacrificed for us
Mm-hmm.
to get to where we are today. So
Yes.
it's up to us also as parents to teach our children that
Yes.
education is important,
Yes.
that grandma did this to get mom here.
Yes.
And
Correct.
now you need to get somewhere too,
Yeah.
because we're honoring the sacrifices that our parents made
That's how
for
I.
us.
That's how I feel when I look back at my, like when I look back at my father's situation. They're from Zacatecas, right? And Zacatecas is far from TJ. You know what I mean? Like that's a distance. Whew. But they got to California, and my father said that my grandma at the time had 10 kids in Mexico, and they live in an adobe house and stuff like that. So my grandpa came to California, worked the fields, and got his green card. He worked hard, 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 then got his son to come with his green card, right? So every child that was born in Mexico, the person would work and get their green card, and then the other green card,
For the family.
yeah, for the family. And then so when my grandmother came to California, she was, the homemaker, right? The full-time mom. And I think about, like, my father, like sometimes, my dad's a hardworking man, but he's not that doctor and lawyer, right? He just wants to work hard, provide for his family. And so then now when I look at my father and I look at myself, I have a bachelor's degree. I'm considered like the first generation Mexican, right? To my father. And then I graduate from high school, which he didn't, and I graduate from college, which he didn't. So it's like I'm the first in his line, to break barriers. And I think it's super inspiring because that's what I want to share with my kids. Like my son, he gets all A's because I told him, Mom don't have the money yet, but if you want to be a Laker, an NBA star, you have to get all A's. So then when you go to college, you can play basketball for free and take whatever you want to take as your major business or whatever you want to do. And he is 12. And that's his thing. A's, 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 A's.
And it's good to push them in that way to get that education.
Yes.
And also important to remember the opportunities that we have.
Yes.
Right. So when we immigrated to San Diego, my mom used to be a teacher in Mexico.
Yes.
She helped special needs children. And immigrating to the United States, she couldn't bring her license with her.
Yes, correct.
So what she did is she opened a daycare in our home because she didn't want to leave us with someone she didn't know. And she sacrificed that. She could have left us with someone. She could have maybe gone back to school, although that would also be difficult. She was about to have a baby. But she made these sacrifices for us to have better opportunities. So now that we have those opportunities, we need to take advantage of them and keep it going and teach our children that look at the opportunity you had that grandma didn't.
Yes.
And look what mom did of her opportunity. You need to do the same.
Yeah.
Because education is super important.
It is.
If you want to be someone, if you want to have money, if you want to be able to take care of your family, you need to have an education.
Yes.
And even though I don't have children, a lot of my friends do.
Yes.
And I'm thinking of one of my friends specifically because she has told me that I have inspired that in her son, who's now a teenager, just driving that education and telling him that it's important because he's a teenager. They have other things in mind. They want to hang out with friends. They want to go party. They have these things that we did, I'm sure, when we were young, right? But always reminding them that apart from that, education is very important.
Yes.
And you also need to dedicate yourself to that so that you can become someone and help other people.
So tell the viewers, when it comes to being a lawyer, like how many organizations are out there, for people that are in the paralegal field, for networking purposes and things of that nature.
Yeah, of course. So,
like, who do you belong to, like, in an organization?
Yes, of course. So I'm thinking of my biography that I just updated.
Okay.
Because I'm working on my website right now. I'm doing some updates, and I've been very involved in the past 3 years since I went on my own. I am a member of a lot of organizations. Right now, I'm the chair of American Immigration Lawyers Association, Southern California chapter. I am a member on the executive committee of the Los Angeles County Bar Immigration Section. I was co-chairing the immigration section for the National Lawyers Guild Los Angeles chapter for 2 years.
Wow.
That ended in 2022. So at one point, I was on 3 executive boards,
Wow.
and people would tell me, "How do you do all of this?
Yes.
How are you on 3
time management?
Yeah, how are you on 3 boards? How are you on your own? You don't have any assistants." I do run a 100% virtual practice, so I'm alone 100%.
Yes.
And it's just work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your capabilities and time management. Yes, I'm very good at that. I'm a big multitasker. But I would tell people that want to get connected. I'm also a member of Mexican American Bar Association.
Yes, I've heard of that
MABA,
before. Yes.
yeah, known as MABA. And it's important to network.
Of course.
So if you're thinking of, or if you're a law student thinking of going to law school, there's a lot of networking opportunities with these organizations. Because when you think about it, these organizations are there to create community and offer support. So people can join MABA, people can join, LACBA, which is called Los Angeles County Bar, the immigration section. And it's surprising because some of my colleagues are not members of LACBA, and I find it really important. There's a listserv.
Yes.
So what that is basically a listserv where attorneys unite to send questions, offer support.
Yeah.
And that's a learning process too, because we're not going to know everything. At least I don't. I'm always learning.
Yes.
And
every day we learn. Yes.
I love to learn. So that's exciting for me. So these support networks and opportunities to learn are accessible and are there. We just have to look for them.
Yes.
And I always tell people, if you are looking for resources, please contact me. I'm more than happy to connect you with a mentor, or maybe mentor you myself if I'm able to. Correct. Or connect you with organizations. A lot of law students can join them for free.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Talking about law right now, I was thinking, if you can remember the questions that the parents were asking you, can we kind of talk about those questions and how you answered them?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So the workshop that we did in Inglewood recently with Children's Institute of LA and the Phoenix Rising Coalition.
Thank you.
It was a 101 workshop where parents were invited to listen to a short presentation about the 101s of how to obtain a green card, because there's a lot of avenues. And I also wanted to teach them who could potentially be a petitioner, because sometimes people believe that maybe an aunt or an uncle or a cousin can petition for them to obtain a green card. And unfortunately, they can't. There are very specific categories. Apart from going through the 101 basics, I also wanted to cover self-petitions, which are for people who may not have a family member to petition for them, but are looking for relief, right, for protection here in the U.S. We spoke about the U visa process for victims of crime. We spoke about the Violence Against Women Act, where if you are married to someone with status, you could claim that, you were abused and you are self-petitioning yourself for a green card, because in most situations in an abusive relationship, that's what they hold over your head.
Yes.
Right? You're undocumented. Yes. What are you going to do if you leave me? Right? So it's a whole cycle of violence.
Yes.
And it's important to let people know that there are resources for them. They don't have to feel afraid and remain in those situations. There may be a way to obtain a green card in that way. And at the end, we had a question and answer. Yes. Which was nice, because I like to
interact.
Yeah, interact and listen to stories and maybe offer some advice on what they should be looking at. But of course, it's more important to schedule a consultation.
Of course. Yes.
Because it's an opportunity for you to ask all of your questions, to understand the processes. Yeah. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on my consultations. I've been told several times, you're the only person that explained it to me. Thank you. Wow. How it works, or why don't I qualify? Or what do I need if I qualify? Yes. So I like to provide those complete consultations so that people know if they qualify, what that would mean and what the process is like. And if they don't qualify, why don't they qualify? Because a lot of people sometimes feel like they didn't understand. Yes. Maybe they called someone for a consultation and the answer was, you don't qualify for anything. Okay. But not why. And that's important for people to understand, because it gives them that sense of security. Yes. I understand why. Right now, I cannot proceed. Right. And they understand that they may have to wait for a reform or maybe a change. of some way, maybe a program opens up
Yeah.
with special benefits, but they leave at least a consultation if there's nothing I can do for them with that knowledge.
Yes.
And I love teaching. I think I might have been
Yeah.
a teacher
in
if I
another
wasn't.
life.
Yeah, if I wasn't an attorney, I would probably want to be a professor.
Yes, yes.
Because I love that. I love
Educating
teaching and
people,
yes,
yeah,
educating and spreading that knowledge. Because something that I also mentioned in the workshop is this might not apply to you, but what
Yeah.
if it applies to your best friend? What if it applies
Just
to your
like my
family
friend
member?
Joanna said, she
Mhm.
says, I'm a lawyer and I just came because I know that I have certain people I know that probably need these resources.
Mhm.
So she was able to come
Exactly.
and she learned a lot,
Yeah, she's absorbing the info
Yes.
to give to someone else.
And then we enjoyed
benefit
our
them.
dinner at Fiesta Martins.
Yes, it was delicious. Those fajitas were good.
Yeah, it was very festive too. I wanted to take you somewhere nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have one question. So let's say there's a guy that is not a citizen. And in his younger days, he was, an active gang member and he went to county jail. Fast forward, he doesn't have a criminal record anymore because it was so many years ago, right? It doesn't show on his background, right? And he wants to be a US citizen. How would he go about doing that?
Okay, so one of the important things that I mentioned to folks when they consult with me is that you don't immediately think of citizenship if you're undocumented. You think about residency. So it's always the green card process first. How do I get that green card? And just because you were involved in gang activity in the past doesn't necessarily mean you won't qualify for the green card. We as attorneys do have to review your criminal record because even though it's been 20, 30 years, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
The government will take a look at your complete criminal record.
Okay.
Sometimes there are requirements of in the past 5 years, right?
Yeah,
What do you qualify for this benefit? And then that's how you gauge whether maybe an activity or a conviction that they were involved in would hurt the process.
Yeah.
There's also post-conviction relief available.
Okay.
I don't process that myself, but I have colleagues that I refer cases to. They're criminal attorneys.
Okay.
And I tell them, look, this person wants to apply for this benefit. This is the criminal record. This is concerning to me. And remember also that it won't necessarily say a gang member, was convicted of this. It will just say like assault with a deadly weapon.
Yes.
So they don't have maybe the background information. And when you're interviewed, they could get into those details.
Yes.
So it's also important that if you do have a criminal record, that you are well prepared to answer those questions. What should I say? What should I not disclose?
Yes.
Because, that's the strategy as attorneys, right? How to protect our clients.
Yes.
And what do we need to prepare our client to say if we have a rap sheet, if we have certain things that may look bad?
Yes.
And of course, you wouldn't be filing if you're not eligible.
Yeah. So if you have a green card, you're not a U.S. citizen.
No, you are a resident.
So when you have a green card, what would be the process to get to become a U.S. citizen?
Yes. So it depends on how you obtained your green card. The most common way is a spouse. A spouse petitions for you because a spouse is a U.S. citizen. Let's just make that as an example. And let's say that this person has a legal entry into the U.S. They're able to get an interview here in the U.S. for a green card. If it's through marriage, they give you 3 years where you have to wait. If you're still in the relationship, if you're still in the marriage. And let's say that during the course of those 3 years that you're getting ready to become a citizen and file, you get divorced. Then at that point, you have 5 years. So it increases it to 5.
So that person has to find another spouse?
No, you don't have to find another spouse. The citizenship process has nothing to really do with your spouse. It has to do with you. With your record, with your desire to become a U.S. citizen. Your spouse doesn't even go to the interview. It's completely your case. You as the applicant.
See, and the way television shows, it's like they come and do the interview with you and the spouse at the house. They want to see you, social media. They want to do all of
so
this
that's
stuff.
The green card process. They could. If there's red flags where the officer might say, this is suspicious. Or, sometimes people get married really quickly. They fall in love really fast.
Yes.
And they may want to interview you just to see if it's legit.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened to any of my clients, but I have heard that at times immigration officers can arrive to your house and
Yeah.
take a look. Are there photographs of the both of you here? But that's all green card process,
Okay.
not
But
citizenship.
once you have your green card, the citizenship is different.
Is on your own, yes.
Okay.
And you look at either 3 years or 5 years in the most common scenario,
Yes.
which is the marriage.
Okay.
And if you're still with your spouse, then it's 3. And if it's with no spouse anymore, then it's
5.
regular 5.
Oh, thank you for enlightening me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Now I
pleasure.
understand. At least I could say I know 2 things in that situation. Let's talk about Latinas Who Boss Up 2.0. Let's talk about this book.
Yeah. So this opportunity came to me randomly. I was contacted by someone on Instagram, which I always plug social media as a great marketing tool. So if you're on your own, you need to be on social media. I'm not a big TikToker myself because I'm not finding the time to do all of that, but I am very active on Instagram.
Yes.
The lovely thing is that Instagram cross posts with Facebook. So you can, post on Instagram, it'll post to your Facebook page. And this opportunity, as I said, came from Instagram. A woman found my page, loved my content, and called me and said, I would love to interview you. We have a project where we want to get a group of Latina entrepreneurs to come together and share their story. It's a Q&A format, which is neat because you don't see that often. And we appeared for a podcast as well with the person that brought us together for this book and shared our experiences. We all have a different title of our section, and I believe that's based on what we primarily spoke about or what maybe inspired the conversation. And I believe mine is called Knowing Your Worth, which I love because, I can say that I have grown in confidence and self-worth over the years.
Yes.
I'm more confident now than when I was younger, and that's okay. Everybody has their own journey. You don't have to be the most confident person, the most outgoing person to succeed in life. Just be yourself, work on yourself, things that you want to strengthen. Like, for example, I'm really proud of myself today for being here because public speaking and being recorded is not my comfort zone.
Yes.
And I'm actually doing well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not feeling that like nervousness as I normally do. So that's growth.
Yeah, it is.
And it's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to put yourself out there. So this was a great opportunity for me to share my story and inspire other people and just let them know that I'm not perfect. I'm a human like everyone else, and I'm trying my best. And I feel good about what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh. So what do you have? Any goals for 2023? Do you have any like upcoming goals or events that you would like to share with the viewers?
Yes. So a big goal of mine has been to become a homeowner.
Nice.
I'm still renting in Los Angeles, and it's time. Next adulting step for me.
Yes.
So what I've been doing is I've been working really hard. I've been saving my money, and hopefully by the end of this year, early next, I will be purchasing my first home.
Oh, that's a blessing.
I do want to build wealth because, again, finance and investing is on my mind.
Yes.
And I hope to have several properties that I can rent, and that way save income and take care of my family.
Yes. Yes. I always, I had a conversation with a criminal lawyer, and I was educating her like the importance of like I was asking her, do you have a 401k? She was like, no, like we're pretty much like entrepreneurs, like we're on our own boss. So I don't work for a firm, I work for myself. So I was asking her, I said, well, how do you save your money? She says, I put it in the bank. And I said, have you ever thought about putting your money in an IUL, the Index Universal Life Insurance, where it's protected? Because right now with what's going on with the banks it's insane. It's insane. And I told her I'm not really a fan of a 401k because in 2009 when the economy took a dump, my money in that 401k was gone. And I don't like to gamble. So that's what I, when I was learning about lawyers as entrepreneurs is when you said wealth. So yes, it's important, to purchase houses and to make income. but it's also important to put your money in a fixed annuities and index universal life insurance to protect your assets, because when the economy takes a dump, our houses become what? Upside down. And then that's when foreclosures happen. You know what I mean? So it's always good to diversify your wealth.
Yes, yes.
Always important, always important. And I love educating people myself. You know what I mean? I really do. I know, like, having the opportunity to have a podcast is truly a blessing, because I love to interview people so that my viewers can learn about you, right? Or my guest. And with your story, it's important because there's a young woman or a man, a young man or a high school students that are going to see this footage and be inspired by your story and your truth.
I hope so.
Yes.
And that's what we want
Yes.
from this podcast.
I believe so, because like I said, when you did that workshop, it was like, even though I was sitting there like pressing the button for you, but I still was like, you know, like,
you're engaged.
Yeah, very engaged. Yeah, very, very engaged, very engaged. And I love the fact how the community, the parents were there and they had questions. You know,
they weren't afraid to ask.
Yeah, they weren't. And that's so important, not to be afraid to ask. And so also about, like, you know, the educating part, you know, you're teaching people, you know, you're mentoring people. You're being a big sister, even if it's not mentorship, but you're being a big sister to say, hey, let's go on Zoom, you know, for 20 minutes to see what are your vision and goals and how I can assist you, right? To guide you the right way. And empowering those. Like, when I see your social media, it empowers me. I love your artwork, the flyers.
Thank you.
It's very important, because sometimes when you say immigration lawyer, it's immigration lawyer. But when you start to explain the different parts of immigration stuff, Immigration 101, it grabs people attention, you know?
And they're starting to educate themselves on the matter. Like, I recently posted about fraud and misrepresentation. That's a recent post that I had. And my idea was to highlight that issue. So there are things called inadmissibilities. And that would prevent you from getting relief, getting immigration relief. Some people qualify for waivers, for example, if there's fraud or misrepresentation in their case. So it's important to highlight the issues in the case and maybe how to resolve them, hopefully.
Definitely.
There are people that, like I said, may have to wait for reform, but I love sharing knowledge. And I've been able to do that through my social media. Everything that you see on there, I have created manually.
Oh, nice.
I don't hire anyone to do it.
Well, then you have to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, I've been doing it on my own since I started my business. So.
I need to learn how to do that, because I have so many things I want to do for my financial services, you know, like, man, like educating and empower people, but I don't know how to do flyers. So, you know, but
there's tools. There's tools out there.
I need to learn those tools.
Yeah, definitely. I did teach a social media class to a group of business women.
Nice.
I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021.
Okay.
But that was really cool because the women saw my social media.
Yes.
And they said, we have businesses. What are we not getting out of social media that you're getting out of social media?
Yes.
And I'm always happy to share my experience.
Well, maybe we'll do a workshop here. Serious.
Yeah.
And we could do both, you know, both about Immigration 101 and then also about, you know, the business part of media.
Because marketing, right? That's marketing.
So important. So we could do 2 in 1. Thank you so much. I'm just so excited already. I'm already thinking, because I remember I said I want to interview you, and I also want you to be a host for Wealth, Health, and Self. So we can talk about that later today, about what month you can be the guest speaker.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes. I feel like, you know, when you find a jewel, oh man, you got to hold on to her.
Well, thank you for thinking of me that way.
Share. Yes, of course. You're a jewel, you know. So before we, you know, close the show on Purpose and Passion, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers?
Yes.
How can they find you? Or
yes, of
anything
course.
Motivational?
Yeah, so motivational, I would say that even though you have obstacles in life, you can overcome them. If you have that drive and that passion, think about where that drive and passion comes from. Is it your family struggles? Is it personal struggles? Is it you wanting to advance yourself as a person, help your family? We all have a different life path, but it all can be done. Look for that support. Look for those mentors. Look for people that inspire you. Send a message, send an email. I'm sure I can speak for a lot of professionals that we're happy to share our knowledge and we're happy to help you. A lot of times people are afraid to make that connection because they may see us, I don't know, on a platform or where they're not yet, and they get intimidated.
Yes.
But don't do that to yourself. Don't miss those opportunities to connect with others. And I definitely want people to connect with me if they're interested. I have my website. It's www.neri.lawoffices.com. That's N as in Nancy, ERI, lawoffices.com. I'm working on that site. I'm making a lot of updates that I'm really excited about, but you can still enter the site and grab information. I also have a lot of information on there about immigration and processes. So you can read more about maybe something you're interested in consulting on. You could also find me on Instagram. I am under abogada, which is attorney in Spanish. Yes. Abogada _ my first name Paola, Paola, last name Neri, Neri. Like I said, I'm on TikTok, but I don't TikTok that much. You could probably find me on there under the same name. And I do have also my Facebook page, Neri Law Offices. I'm on LinkedIn under my name. And it'd be great to connect. Also, if someone's interested in consulting with me, I'm more than happy. Yes. You can email me at paola@nerilawoffices.com, or you can also Instagram me. I have a lot of clients that come off Instagram because they see my content, they share it, they're interested. And you can send me a direct message, any form of contact. You could also text me. My business number is a cell, and I text with my clients all the time. Awesome. As well as people that want to just, book quickly. Yes. We can just text. It doesn't have to be a formal phone call. Yes. I'm open to that.
Wow. Well, man, thank you so much. I'm excited today because after Purpose and Passion, we're going to eat some bomb tacos in the city of Inglewood. Well, this is Raina Carrillo signing out. See you next week on Purpose and Passion. Peace. Bye.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.